Hey guys, welcome to Careers Uncorked. This is your co-host Sid.
And this is your co-host Sharfuz.
At Careers Uncorked, we host some amazing guests and hear their incredible stories.
And we're super excited to have you join us today.
Hey, Sharfuz, how's it going?
It's good, sir. How are things on your end? Happy Saturday, right? Happy Saturday.
It is Saturday. I'm glad you knew.
Yeah, dude. Any plans for the weekend? What have you been up to?
I'm just really excited for this conversation. I'm speaking to Sari after a little while, so I'm excited to catch up with him. And I think this is going to be such an awesome session for everyone attending. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, dude. I'm super excited too. I think I heard a lot of great things about Sari. I think the only thing I'm not excited about is hearing about Roblox, and the reason being my nephew talks so much about Roblox. He's obsessed with it, so it's like more Roblox. All right, I'm in. My nephew was asking me to see if I could get some Roblox or something from Sari. So I got to talk to him about that.
Yeah, let's chat with Sari about that. Let's see if he can get us some Robux.
Yeah, I'll be like a superstar uncle.
Sari, how's it going?
It's going good. Excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, we are as well. So tell us, can you get us some Robux?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't give anyone Robux, not even my little sister. Right now, it's mostly just like her playing on my account, so we don't have that option yet.
Oh, no.
Dude, I was gonna win like the best uncle award or something. Like my nephew, he's like 10 years old, I think. He is like super obsessed with Roblox. So that's really does. Like I got him a PlayStation 4 this past Christmas. I got in this whole PS4. I was super excited. I introduced to him all the games that I love, and I'm super hyped up. And he just kept it in a shelf. He just never opened the box, and he just plays like Roblox games or whatever. I'm like, give me my money back.
When you said that, I imagined that meme, with the guy who's like, here's my money, and it's like, give me my money back.
Yeah, like I get him a PS4, and he's just like, no, I don't care about it. Like, it's just, I'm going to play this. I'm like, okay, I guess it was a waste.
All right, so let's kick it off. Sorry, tell us about yourself a little bit for the audience tuning in. What do you like? What do you do outside of work? And what does your day look like?
Yeah, definitely. So just a quick introduction. My name is Sari. I'm currently an associate product manager at Roblox. I recently graduated from the University of Toronto, studying electrical and computer engineering. So initially kind of going into college, I was really interested in like entrepreneurship and business. And then I kind of went into the technical field, and I found that like my passion intersected in product management. So that's kind of on the professional side. On the more personal side, outside of work, I really like doing kind of different exercises. So I used to do triathlon in middle school. I've recently kind of been into tennis and Orange Theory fitness classes. So that's kind of taken up a lot of the time. I also like going outdoors whenever I can, especially with like quarantine, just being stuck inside. It's been like really nice and healthy to go outside. Spend a lot of family as well, and some video games.
That is so awesome. You know what? I have to tell people, Sorry, I know you have a guilty pleasure for ice cream. So do I. I see it on Instagram all the time, and I'm like, dude, I love that. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's a big part of
it. I used to do Orange Theory here as well. I did that for like 6 months before COVID started.
Wow, that's awesome. I just started, and it looks really fun. Like they force you to do the workouts. So that's like something I needed.
Yeah, it's like a little group thing, but I totally get that. When the red zone, like push, I did that for 6 months, and it really had a change in my body as well, like transformation wise. It was pretty great.
That's really good. How many times a week did you used to do it?
I used to go like 4 or 5. I went like 4 times a week, maybe 5 rarely, but definitely 4 times.
That's very.
Yeah, I think I lost I lost some good weight through that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm excited for you.
For people tuning in, this session is actually not sponsored by Orange Theory. Might sound like it.
But yeah, no, sorry. Thanks for that intro. And this is awesome. So, so one of the things I'm really curious about to hear is that what were some of the things that had a significant for you in college? What were some of those significant experiences?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think when I look back to like my college experience, a lot of the different things I did, I think shaped the person I became, and also like where I ended up after college. So I think one really important experience for me was like starting a small business really early on. So like between high school and college, and I ran that for a couple of years. So I started like a hamster fun business, which is basically these like giant human hamster balls that people go inside and walk and run around in. So that was
Yeah.
like a super fun experience. And I was like really interested in business. And I read like that the best way to actually try entrepreneurship is to do it instead of reading about it. So I think that experience really kind of shaped the person I was, because it taught me a lot of like the communication, leadership skills, and it just like showed me what I really enjoy doing outside of like school. Because for me, it's always been like math and science, and like only like textbook stuff. So actually being able to do something of my own was really fun. I think a lot of the internships also like shaped my interests. So I was very confused and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after college or just in general. So I tried getting like a wide variety of internship experiences. So like a corporate internship, a consulting, a product, a software internship, and just like try out different things and see what sticks. And instead of always trying to find what I want to be doing, I started actually seeing what I don't want to be doing and like slowly eliminating jobs or companies that I didn't enjoy as much, or I don't see like myself fitting in. So I feel like trying a bunch of different things really helped me kind of narrow down on what I wanted to do. So those types of experiences really helped throughout college.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really like the fact that you mentioned like the practical experiences, because that's something I really stick by as well. I do not believe that books and theory knowledge is all that about entrepreneurship. I think it's really something practical. And quick shout out, I read on your LinkedIn that you guys had over $24,000 in revenue over 2 months. Crazy. That is absolutely insane. Like super, super congratulations for that. It's unheard of. I'm so happy for you about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a really good experience. Like we were able to like partner up with Groupon and like get featured on the homepage, and I think that got a lot of traction. So it was great.
That is so crazy. Being a college kid, I think that would be like waking up to that.
Yeah.
You'd be on top of the world at that point.
Yeah, it was really like a super important experience.
No, yeah, major props. Like I think really great, just getting so much traction for like a college side hustle. So that's really super incredible. And I'm glad you talked about just some of those internship experiences and you trying out different things. So tell us a little bit about that internship search. Like, how did you go finding about it? So you worked at Accenture, then you went to Tesla. So let's start with Accenture. Like, how did you go about it, finding that?
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking for internships, I think pretty early on in the school year, and I wasn't really sure which area I wanted to be in. So what I started doing is attending a lot of info sessions that we had on campus. So companies come to colleges and do like an info session or an open house session. And I think Accenture had like a design thinking workshop where they like taught you a bit about like the stuff they do, and it was very interactive. And I found it super interesting because it was the first time where a company wasn't just there to talk about how great it is. It was like a company coming to your college and showing what they do day to day, which was really insightful. And like we got to collaborate with a bunch of like Accenture employees, and I found that super interesting. So that kind of attracted me. And after doing that design thinking workshop, I started like networking with different people at Accenture. Got invited to like another event. It was like very networking heavy. So it was really fun because as you kind of went through the process, you got to learn more about the company and the people there. So after like the networking sessions, then the interviews started and like everything went well. And that's how I kind of got the internship. So I think at that stage, it was really useful to attend like a bunch of info sessions that I had in college, going to a lot of career fairs. I know now it's a little bit tougher with COVID, but I've actually seen a lot more opportunities for like online virtual open houses or info sessions or like tech talks by companies, and it's become even easier to broadcast those. So a lot more companies have these, and these are like great opportunities to learn more about the company, the projects, the engineers, the people you can work with. And I think that's kind of something that's really valuable. And it was kind of how I got my internship at Accenture and how I was looking for internships outside of that as well.
Yeah, dude, that's really incredible. And thank you for sort of mentioning about those opportunities as well. Especially, I think with the virtual world, I think that's very key for people to students to take advantage of. And it sounds like that you did. Yeah, and Sid, I don't think we even employed as much as those strategies when we were on our job search. So this is really like great to hear.
Yeah, I think Sari really nailed it at the point where he said it's important to learn about the company's culture, and I think that's really what internships are for, right? It's like a brief amount of time that you get to really interact and see what it's like to work there. So I think Sari's done a great job in demonstrating that it's important to learn the company culture more than just like, oh, here's a big company and this is what we sell sort of thing. So and I really agree with him. Accenture is huge on like the design thinking and innovation and stuff like that. So really excited to hear that. Sorry, can you walk us through about your internship search for Tesla and Roblox as well?
Yeah, definitely. So for my internship search at Tesla, it was around the time where I started getting like really active on LinkedIn, because I found it like as a fun, like professional social media site that I just spent a lot of time on. So it was really cool seeing like updates from different people, being connected to different people, seeing events. And I just started realizing that there's a lot of opportunities that get posted on there. And I like saw that statistic that 90% of jobs are actually gotten through networking and only 10% of jobs are basically secured through applying online. And I'm just like, why would anyone spend 10%? Why would anyone spend their time on 10% of the jobs when you have like 90% of the opportunities, and a lot of them are coming from LinkedIn? So I just started spending a lot more time on LinkedIn, getting connected with people at companies that I was interested in, going through like second and third degree connections and just connecting with people, messaging, asking for coffee chats, and just like doing a bunch of different stuff. And as I was doing that, I actually started seeing a lot of different opportunities pop up. So for Tesla, I saw a hiring manager post an internship for the company, and I kind of reached out, sent over my resume, explained why I was a good fit and like that 150 word or character limit. And we actually started a conversation, and that led into getting an interview, which was like really awesome. I was super excited, and I did the interview. I thought it went great. And then a few days after, I got rejected, and that was kind of a bummer. So I called back the hiring manager. I was like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "You were great, but we found someone that was like a better fit." And that actually kind of crushed me, because I was super excited to like work at Tesla, and I thought the interview went well. Yeah. So what I tried doing instead after that happened is going onto like that hiring manager's profile and getting connected with all of like her mutual connections and seeing what other hiring managers at Tesla's profiles are, and like going through like their feed and seeing what positions they post, and like over my resume to a bunch of different ones. And one hiring manager actually had an open position that I sent over my resume that resulted in an interview, and that one actually worked out. So it was like a really nice coincidence that things ended up working out. But I think I could have like stopped at any second after getting rejection. But it was just like a good idea to try and like keep going. And I think I had it in me at the time. That's not always like possible, but that actually worked out. And that's how I got the Tesla internship. And Roblox was kind of similar. Lots of time spent on LinkedIn. I didn't know about the company until I saw someone post about it from my like mutual connections. And then I applied on LinkedIn, and things worked out that way.
Wow, this is beautiful to hear. This is like music to my ears. You've really made use of LinkedIn so well. This is crazy, because I always tell people like really spend a lot more time on LinkedIn, and you've basically shown that it actually works, right? You've reached out to hiring managers, you've connected with their mutual connections, which is like number one strategy if you're looking to get a job. Like really delve into that. That's so awesome to hear.
Yeah. No, for sure. I was gonna say like, cause it's like it's so much easier to give up on LinkedIn when you're trying to like connect with people, and a lot of people not get back to you, right? And can be very frustrating. So I guess you really showed like persistence, and just kind of gets you all the way at the end of the day. So the energy was well spent. I think that's really incredible, and I think there's a lot of takeaways for people tuning in here from your story regarding that search.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to like sugarcoat it. It was like really tough, and I think a lot of times we focus on like the positive experiences, but we don't talk about like the 500 people that didn't respond to like any of my LinkedIn connections, or like I get people reach out saying, "Hey, I'm not getting any responses. Like, how did you get so many responses?" And I'm just like, I didn't get that many responses. Maybe like out of every like 20, 30, 40 people I connected with, one person would reply, and times it wouldn't be like anything that they can offer. But if you just like keep doing it enough, like if you send 10 connection requests a day over like 2 months, that's like a ton of people you're getting connected to. So it's never going to be like a really high success rate. People are super busy, and like not everyone can offer you something. Same with like the hamster fund business. Like it was awesome that like we made so much money and like it worked out super well. But there was like 5 other businesses I tried starting that failed miserably and costed me a ton of money. So often I think we look at all the highlights and we don't talk about like the failures. And I think that was like the point of having this title, where it's like you can fail very often, but the one time it succeeds, it's actually it's worth all the failures.
Very true. Very true. I'm glad you're talking about that because that's such a big thing. No one really talks about failures. Like everyone's been rejected. I've been rejected a number of times, and we only like sort of highlight the positive pieces of it. But I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's very true. I've received like snarky remarks on LinkedIn messages too. Like when you reach out to someone, they're like, why the fuck are you wasting my time? But it's that determination to keep going. And like you said, it's a numbers game. Eventually someone's going to respond to you.
Yeah.
All right. So we actually have a question from the audience. I'm just going to bring that up. So Jimmy is wondering, did you ever use any of your hobbies and interests like running to network professionally?
That's a good question. I don't think I used my hobbies to network professionally. I think it was definitely something that you can talk about like during coffee chats and virtual interviews, like early in the early stages. I don't think I used like them directly, but even with like sending connection requests on LinkedIn, if you see someone that like is part of a running club and you also run, that's like a huge kind of point of mutual interest that you can talk about. Like oftentimes I connected with people from Canada saying, hey, we both go to Canada, let's connect, or like something like finding something that's mutual. And I think it does help kind of it differentiates you from like a normal connection. Like if someone went to the same university as you or participated in the same club, even if it's like in a different school, or someone is in the same country or plays the same sport that has it on LinkedIn, or speaks Arabic and that's on their LinkedIn, I think that's kind of something that you can connect based on. And I think that's also really valuable, because if you have someone connecting with you that has a similar interest, or someone that's like totally just cold emailing, cold connecting, I think you would like prefer one over the other.
For sure. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, you know, because it's not like you're going to Orange Theory and like talking to the person next door being like, oh, you work at Google? Like, I need a job kind of thing. It's more about like, oh, like sure foods. It's more, like you enjoy training, you enjoy fitness, you enjoy things like that. And that's a good conversation starter for a lot of cases. That's awesome.
And finding that common thing. And if you can't find anything, just be like, hey, we both go to this world. Want to connect?
We're both on LinkedIn.
We both live in this world. So like just
that is awesome. All right, sorry. So I want to jump into what you're doing right now. So I know you're APM at Roblox. Your internship at Roblox was for software engineering. So how did you sort of change that up, and why did you return to Roblox and sort of diversifying again as you did through your internships?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll start off with like, I guess my internship at Roblox. So I did a software engineering internship at Roblox, which was just like awesome. I really enjoyed the company culture, the people, the projects I got to work on. And it was like one of the first times where I was part of a company that actually gave me more responsibility than I expected, because I think Roblox is in this like sweet spot of a medium-sized company where there's a lot more responsibility and trust given to like interns and new grads. So I was kind of able to do a lot more than I expected. And even as a software engineering intern, I was able to kind of pursue some other passions, like talking with people that are in product management. And it was around that time where I kind of honed in on wanting to do product management after graduation, because I found it as like the perfect mix between like the software technical stuff I did for my degree, as well as like my interest and passion in business and entrepreneurship. So I found that product was like an awesome mix. And that was like at the point where I was really like trying to dive deeper into it. So while I was a software engineering intern, I kind of set up a bunch of coffee chats with people within the company to ask about like product management. What is product management at Roblox like? Just asking a ton of questions just to make sure that this is what I wanted to do. And Roblox had that culture where it really encouraged like talking to different people within the company. Like you would message executives and they would reply. And I just really enjoyed that aspect. So that kind of reaffirmed that I really wanted to do product management after graduation. And towards the end of my software internship, I asked to kind of interview for APM roles. And I would kind of go through the interview process, and everything went over really well. It was funny because I think during my kind of on-site interviews, some of the people that interviewed me, I actually chatted with during my internship. So that's always kind of a good point. You never know who you're going to talk to that's going to come up later down the line. So that's kind of how I got the APM position, and it's been really good so far. The reason why I enjoyed Roblox so much compared to kind of some of the other companies I interned at or applied and interviewed with, I think there was a few things. The first one is the people. A lot of everyone likes to talk about this, but people make the biggest difference, I think, on your job. So at Roblox, like there were super smart, humble, fun people that I just really enjoyed working with. Like I asked so many questions, so many stupid questions during my internship, and like everyone was so helpful and nobody made me feel bad about it. And it was very encouraging. So I really enjoyed the people that I was working with, and that was like consistent with different people across teams, across the company. So it wasn't just like my team that I was lucky with. So I really enjoyed the people there. The second thing is like the company culture. I think, Sid, you touched on this last time, but it makes a huge difference. So if you compare like cultures of different companies that are different sizes, there's a lot of different values that companies have. The CEO also affects the culture quite a bit. So at Roblox, I found the culture being very encouraging. So there's this like self-organized value where you get a lot more responsibility as an employee, and you're able to kind of do things without kind of having it be part of your job description. So if you're interested in something, you have kind of the autonomy to try it out. And I found that super encouraging, and I really enjoyed that aspect. And there's a ton of other values like respecting the community and just a lot of values that I resonate with. And I think it's really important to kind of match your personal values with your company values. So I think that was another huge thing at Roblox. And the third thing is like the actual product and the project. So I really enjoy customer or user facing products. So rather than like a B2B or SaaS type of business, I really enjoy working on something that you can actually like see. Like my sister plays Roblox, and it's just like something that's very easy and tangible. So I really enjoyed that aspect. And there's a lot of really cool like challenges at Roblox right now. So how do we build tools for people to make games like Fortnite and Minecraft? Like how do people make huge games on Roblox? How do we build an economy that's similar to like the economy of the United States within Roblox? So it's just a lot of really interesting challenges. And I found that it would be like a really cool place to start my career, especially as like a new grad.
That is so awesome. I mean, honestly, you've done such a great job in sort of describing your journey so far. And we've had a number of PMs, right, on the show. We've had PMs from Microsoft, Google, Facebook. I think one of the hardest things they talk about, and one of the most difficult parts about this, is PM recruitment. What were some of the things you kept in mind while you were like, oh, I want to be a product manager? Like, these are the skill sets I have. So how did you sort of approach that recruitment process?
Yeah, so the recruitment process, I think for at least APM, which is like the new grad product positions, is pretty tough, just because there's very few APM positions, and there's a lot of people that want to get into it. So it's just like, it makes it, the numbers just don't work out. It's just like very hard because there's limited positions. So I think there was like 3 different components of the recruitment process that I tried kind of structuring. The first one is actually getting past the resume screen. So a lot of these like positions have tens of thousands of applicants, and they only end up hiring 5 to 10 people for the majority of programs. So the numbers are not in your favor. So I think getting past the resume screen was like something that's really challenging, and networking and applying early are some of the things that really help with that. So I tried kind of keeping that in mind ahead of time before the applications open up, because you don't want to be reaching out to people on LinkedIn when the applications opened up asking, hey, I never met you, but can you please refer me? Because I've done that, and that was like a lot of the things I've tried, and that didn't really work out, and I can see why now, being on the other side of things. So there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of get past the resume screen or increase your chances, and I tried kind of keeping that in mind. The second step is like the typical product management interview questions. So these are like, how would you design a product? How would you improve a product? What are like the metrics you would track? And there's a lot of resources online, like cracking the PM interview, and like a lot of books you can read. But I think a lot of people forget about actually practicing the interviews. So doing like interviews is like a huge part of it, just because it gives you a better sense of how it's actually like in an interview. And there's like other components, like some companies have like a product challenge where you need to do like a slide deck. explaining how would you like design a new product for the company. So just being aware of all the components of the interview and starting preparation pretty early if you know that's what you want to focus on.
For sure. That's beautiful here. A few weeks ago, we had someone on the show who was an APM at Google, incoming APM at Google. He did 140 plus interviews, mock interviews. It was absolutely crazy to hear. But one other thing I'd like to highlight, you mentioned about really making the most of your internship and your time to start networking early. I think that's beautiful because I started a job this week and I love the company culture. People are amazing. We have this thing going on, which is called How You Doing Fridays. Basically message everyone, take a number of people, message them, just be like, how you're doing, just catch up with your buddies and your old friends, or reach out to new people, just network. I think that's so cool. And it really keeps you like on your toes, like network, meet more people, learn new things. Cause I think that's one of the best way to learn things. And it'll help you out in your career in the future too, because you're networking actively every week as opposed to like, oh, now I need someone, so I'm going to start reaching out to them.
Yeah, that's actually such a great idea because now also with COVID, you need to be intentional about making conversations. You don't like run into people in the hallway or like in the cafeteria anymore. It's just like much harder to be like making conversation in a remote environment. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Shirfuz, on to you.
Yeah, I think one of the things, sorry, and you mentioned this, that, and thanks for sharing a little bit about how it's like working at Roblox. And you mentioned like some of the things that you find valuable there. Let's talk a little bit about what's your day-to-day like as an APM at Roblox. What do you do? What's a typical day look like? How crazy can it be? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so just to kind of preface that, I think it might be helpful to generally know what a product manager does, because I didn't know what a product manager does. So basically, your primary role as a product manager is to enable the team to keep moving forward with building whatever they're working on. So this is making sure that the engineers know what they need to work on, making sure that the designers have stuff to kind of produce, getting the data science teams to get information the team needs. So you basically want to make sure that nobody's blocked and everyone kind of is working on something that would kind of eventually drive the product forward. So a lot of your role as a product manager is basically collaborating with a lot of people and making sure that everyone knows where we're going. So a lot of my day is actually structured around meetings. So I would say like at least half of my day, typically 4 hours a day of meetings, just in order to kind of meet with engineers, data science, designers, sometimes legal, just meeting with different stakeholders, making sure we're aligned, getting the necessary information. A lot of meetings happen for kind of a variety of different reasons. A lot of them are sync ups. So meetings is a big one. Another thing I usually spend time on is creating product documents. So these are called product specs. So this is what outlines what a feature or a product should look like. So this is something that's used by engineers to kind of break down the different components from an engineering perspective. This is used by designers to see which UI mockups they need to produce, and like any other stakeholders that might be interested, so they can comment, give their take, and just kind of have a document that outlines what we're planning on building. Other stuff that usually comes up is talking to customers or talking to users. So this is super important. You want to be really close to your users, and you want to make sure that you're building the most important things. So you want to see what problems they're having. You want to get ideas of how you can solve their problems. And in my case, I talk to a lot of developers, so people building games on Roblox. So that's really useful because there's like forums online that you can connect with people, and that's actually a big part of your time. Other stuff, other times I spend looking into competitive products. So I'm on the developer side of Roblox, so helping build the tools people need to build games on Roblox. So looking at some of the other like script editors or coding environments that people use to build games, and seeing how we can make the Roblox coding platform better for our users. So looking at what features other products have, why do some customers prefer other products, and doing some of the analysis on that. And I think that's kind of most of the different things I work on. Sometimes there's like slide decks, presentations, emails, Slack communication, but it's kind of different every day.
Yeah. That's super exciting. I think you've described it really well. Seems like it seems like no no like there's no same days. It's like it seems like a very dynamic environment, and just like, and I guess that was a good also way of just sharing what a PM role would be like for our other people, for people who are interested in that space. I think so. One follow-up question there is that your role is more of an APM, more like a junior PM role, product role, right? So how does it differ from a PM? Do you directly work under a PM? Do you are you not do you not do some stuff that a typical PM would do? Like, what's the difference there?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So typically the way we try to structure teams or product teams on Roblox is a junior PM and a senior PM on any given team. So that way you have someone that gives you a bit more guidance when you need it. And I think the roles typically differ in two main ways. One is the people that you're working with. So I typically work with like 5 to 10 engineers, designers, stakeholders, whereas a PM or a senior PM would work with like 20 to 30 people. So it's just like the scope is a little bit smaller as a junior PM. And also the stuff you're working on is sometimes a little bit different. So what I mean by that is a lot of the stuff I'm doing is execution based. So seeing what the engineers need right now, what the designers need, seeing what are like the different features we want to build, like what do we want to do now, as well as some like moving forward. So I'm also planning like 3 to 6 months ahead, sometimes thinking about the vision for a product, whereas some of like the normal PMs or senior PMs, sometimes they think of 6 months to a year ahead, as well as 3 to 5 years ahead. So where do we want to be in 5 years? And a lot of their time is spent thinking about the vision and kind of seeing how what we're doing now connects to like moving forward. So I think that's kind of a really interesting position, and I'm trying to kind of learn as well how to think very long term. But it definitely helps to kind of get more experience and spend more time at the company. But I think those are the main big differences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like you get to see the short term and also the long term vision as well in that sense, and also just like, and I like the structure there. So you have like a senior PM, like a mentor who is like guiding you, so you don't like really like mess up the whole Roblox or just you're learning and stuff. You know, like think about all the angry users if Roblox just broke and no one can play games anymore. Like, I'm gonna, yeah, that's crazy, man. I think another thing that just popped in my mind is that I read a lot that as a PM, especially as a junior PM, being a PM is a lot about making that influence, but collaborating. You're not anyone's manager, but you're also like kind of get everyone's stakeholder in. So you don't have any power, but you have to like sort of build that influencing kind of persona. So being a PM and working with other engineers, was that a little challenging for you? If the engineers are especially older than you, any thoughts there?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So product is all about like the whole influencing without authority. Like you mentioned, you're not anyone's boss. You're not a manager. Even though manager's in the title, you're not actually a manager. It's more so of like a role. So you're working with other people. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody needs to listen to you. And I think there's a real challenge that comes with that. So as someone that's more junior, I'm realizing that it's very hard to build trust, because you wouldn't do anything someone tells you unless you trust that person. So you trust that they're competent, they know what they're doing. And I think that takes a lot of time to build. So initially it took me a lot of time to realize that there's a lot I need to do in order to build trust with people. So I need to spend a lot of time at the company. I need to show that I've looked at all our options. I looked at the pros and cons of different features. So it takes a lot of time to build that trust. And like you said, we're working with people that are older than me, people that are my age, just like all over the place. So it's been kind of a challenge with that. I think it really helps that I was kind of coming from an engineering background, just because I have some more context on the engineering stuff, and you can kind of speak the same language as some of the engineers. So it gives you a little bit more credibility. But it's definitely like something that takes time to build, and I don't think it's something that you can do really quickly. So building that trust, collaborating, being able to kind of influence people to get that basically gets you to where you want to be without kind of explicitly telling them what to do, because engineers also want to have their own autonomy. We're also, I think like my team specifically has some really strong like product focused engineers. So engineers that have some opinions about the product. So also taking everyone's feedback into consideration, talking to customers, looking at data, just to kind of build your case a little bit. That's also something that you can find helpful.
Absolutely, I love like how you mentioned data, just looking at different options, and I think that's that's a good insight into like other PMs and what people could expect being a junior PM. So thank you for sharing that. You gotta build your credibility, you gotta build that trust. So no, I think that's a really good insight into this.
For sure. And I think one of the biggest segments that we want to cover today is, sorry, from you, we want to hear about your journey through your career and what fail fast, fail often really means to you.
Okay, so just like leaving it at that.
We want you to think openly. Just tell us what this statement means to you, because I know you've mentioned a couple of things about LinkedIn, how that was one of the things that you did, and you fail in there. You fail in reaching out to people, and then also you mentioned things about other things that happen in college, like with startups. You failed multiple businesses. So how do you sort of take that and put it in like perspective to better you as a person?
Yeah.
Extra points for being very philosophical about this.
Yeah.
Very meta about this.
Very meta. So I guess what I started realizing now that I started like job after college and kind of reflecting on a lot of the experiences I had, I realized that what I tried doing throughout like college, high school, basically trying a bunch of different things, just like the whole metaphor of like throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. So I tried doing a bunch of different things and seeing what works out. So I realized that I failed like a ton of times with so many different experiences. So like really early on, I was really interested in entrepreneurship, and I tried like 4 to 5 different businesses, and like 4 of them failed miserably. Like anything from selling like electronics on eBay to selling like splat balls at farmers market to selling like stuff, like random stuff, and like just doing so many different things that failed, like selling lasers at like different carnivals. And it's just a bunch of stuff that fails really miserably, but you learn something from all those experiences. And eventually you just need one thing to work out. And when it does work out, it's like a huge success. So I realized that it was really worth spending the time and effort to try out different things. Like even with internships, I tried out like 4 different internships because I was just so lost in college and I didn't know what to do. And I was like commuting, so it took a lot of time during the school year where I was just like heads down in textbooks, and I didn't have much practical experience unless internships. So I tried a bunch of different internships, some of which I didn't enjoy like day to day, some of which the work itself didn't kind of match up with what I wanted to do. But if I didn't try it, I wouldn't have known that it's not what I want to do. And I think internships are a very kind of low cost way of figuring out if you don't want to do something. And you learn a lot because you can also see if like the culture matches up with what you want, if the company itself, if the people, if the product. So like you can fail so many times, but you slowly start getting a better idea of what you want to do and which company you want to work for and which type of people you want to be surrounded with. So I think failing often really helps with that. And just getting like a bunch of different experiences really kind of helps you in your career further. So like even now, I don't consider myself like done failing. Right now, like I have a job that I really enjoy at a company that I really like, but that can change anytime, right? And I think getting different experiences can be a really good thing. So even outside of work, I try doing different things, even like in the personal life. So I hate running, and I've tried like doing different things that distract me from running. So like playing tennis, you run during tennis, but you don't feel like you're running. So I tried that. I tried doing like the whole Orange Theory fitness classes. So just trying different things and seeing what sticks. I think that's something that's really helpful, and it can go like in your personal life as well. Just trying different books you want to read. And I personally don't read books because I just can't get myself to go through an entire book. So if it's not school related, I just don't read it. So I try like reading online articles instead, or I try reading the first 10 pages of a book before giving up on it. And then I'll find that one book that I really enjoy and read 200 pages of it. So I think just trying out different things and seeing what sticks has been what worked for me. And I think that's what will continue to work, but it always can change as well. Sometimes I actually feel like I give up too quickly when I don't like something, or if I get bored of something too easily, I'm just like, I should have tried harder. Like if I just tried running more, I would have probably like started to enjoy it. So sometimes I wonder if it's the right thing to do, or like if I hated an internship. I'm just like, if I did it for another year, I might have started to like it. So I also question if what I'm doing is even right. But I think that's what kind of worked so far, and we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. There's a phrase that I recently heard. It said, "You don't learn from success; you learn from failure."
Yeah.
I think I really stand by that, because when you fail, that's when you realize, like, oh, this is what I did wrong. But when you're succeeding, it's just a day to day. It's like casual. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love what you said so far, Sari. Especially, I think that's a winning mindset that you have, and that's what the mindset should be, especially people early in their careers and students. I think the biggest thing there is like the fear of failure. That's what kind of stops people, and they don't want to risk it because they don't want to fail or like be rejected. So I think that's just something personal we all face, and we just all have to get through to kind of come on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
All right. Let's keep it coming. So if you have any questions from the audience, we'll be taking them shortly. And then I'd like to jump on to our most exciting segment, Sari. This is the rapid fire. You said you watched a couple of episodes, so you probably know how this goes. So this is questions from William. First question, I'll kick us off. Have you ever met Elon Musk?
So yes, but not one-on-one. So when I was doing my internship there, he had a small presentation just for the interns.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun because there was like a small group of us, and we were just like a few feet away from him. He's a lot taller in person. He's a little bit more awkward than you would expect, but it was like such an interesting experience, like super genius guy. And it was like really fun to actually meet him in the flesh.
That is crazy, dude. I am like, I want to live your life right now.
Did you ask him any interesting questions or something, or like?
He didn't have time for a Q&A session.
Q&A session.
I get that. No, that's a really cool experience, man.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Tell us something that not many people know about you.
Oof, this is a good one. I would have said that I don't read books, but I kind of put that away earlier. I mean, I get bored pretty easily of a lot of things. Like, there was like times where I don't watch Netflix for like a couple years, but then there's also periods where I watch like 4 or 5 different shows in like less than a month. So I guess I'm very like, I fluctuate a lot with like Netflix and like screen time. So there's times where I don't watch anything, and there's times where I finish like 6 shows in like 2 weeks. So something.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. How many Robux do you own?
How many what?
Robux do you own?
Okay, so I think Robux is like the currency. So I
Yeah.
probably have like 10,000 Robux.
10,000?
Yeah.
Can you like gift it to people?
I can't. So one time I gave my sister. So my sister kept asking for Robux, and I couldn't give her any. So I gave her like my account credentials, and she spent like 8,000 Robux like in one day, just like on this game, and she thought she had like unlimited money. So
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. Quick note: that when you started the job, were you worried that they might just pay you in Robux and not? Yeah, job offer letter. We're gonna be paying you this much for Robux.
That would have been something I needed to read in the contract.
I'm glad it wasn't. That's something to be worried about. All right, next one. Sorry. Who's your favorite Canadian artist?
Canadian artist.
Yeah.
Not a. So is this like a singer?
Yeah, music.
Mm.
Is it Drake or The Weeknd?
The Weeknd, I think, would probably be my number one. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone. So there's Justin Bieber, Carly Rae Jepsen, Shawn Mendes or The Weeknd.
Shawn.
Nice.
Shawn. Wait, not Bryan Adams, because he's Canadian too, right?
Yeah, not a huge fan, but I think I'm Canadian.
I love when Sari's trying to be nice about something. He's like, yeah, not really.
I hope I'm not insulting you, Sharfu.
No worries, bro.
He's gonna sulk afterwards. All
Sorry.
right.
Now,
Sorry for being to me on the live stream.
Sari's PM meetings, like, not a huge fan, guys.
Not a huge fan. Let's think of something else.
Sorry, what's your favorite Netflix show that you've been binging?
Oh, I just finished the 100, or as kind of recent as it got. I think there's like the season finale that's next, and that was pretty good. Finished it really quickly as well.
Wow.
That's really awesome, dude. Yeah. All right, the last one and the most important one. Sorry. Favorite co-host, Sid or Sharfuz?
think it has to be a tie. I'd give like a 50-50.
Oh my God. We had the orange theory going on. I know you know Sid, but come on, orange theory bros.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It would have to be a tie, though.
I'm really sure about this one.
He's keeping all stakeholders happy here. He's being a PM about this.
He is. Yeah. All right. Cool. So I think with this, we just have to jump on to one last thing. Is Sari, any advice you have for our viewers, any job seekers, or anyone looking to get into PM? What would be your advice to them as of now?
Yeah. So I would say that there's a lot of online resources out there. So you just got to find them really and try to figure out where your weaknesses are. So some people, their weakness would be like the network they have. So they didn't network much. And right now they're trying to like find people to refer them. Some people are just like not familiar with the application process. I would just say like, try to find out where your weaknesses are. And there's a ton of resources to help with that. So I know a lot of people that are posting like APM resources on LinkedIn. There's people like making newsletters, blogs, and it's just like figure out what your weaknesses are. And there's gotta be online resources to help with that. It's just a Google search away. And I think a lot of times we forget that, or we're just too lazy to do it.
Very true. And Sari is being a little humble. He actually has his own newsletter. Go sign up for that on LinkedIn. He's very active on LinkedIn. He's actually been sharing a lot of stories about getting his internships at Accenture, Tesla, and Roblox. So make sure to follow him. He's a really engaging guy. He also has office hours, AMAs, and all these things going. So he's great resource if you're looking for any advice in your career.
Thank you.
Sorry, thanks for contributing so much.
Yeah. With that being said, this is it. Thanks so much, Sari. We have your LinkedIn down there. So anyone watching, make sure to go follow Sari. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you, Sari.
Yeah.
And, Shafuz, any closing thoughts?
No, I think, sorry, this is brilliant. Like, I personally have always been interested in product management. So I really like a lot of the things you said. It was personally beneficial for me, and I'm definitely sure for all the audience too. And keep up the amazing stuff you're doing on LinkedIn, man. I follow you, and I see all the great resources you're putting out. So this is awesome. Thanks for taking the time for us. Any closing thoughts from you, Sari? Any last words you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I think it was just like really fun chatting with you guys. I think a lot of the points you kind of hit is what people would be looking for. So just really enjoyed the time with you guys, and hopefully this is posted somewhere so other people can reference it, and I'll post on this for anyone that's looking as well.
Yeah, for sure. We'll make sure to share the link with you. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing to receive a notification next time we post. Catch you next time.
Wow.
Okay. Like this?
My God.
Oh.
My God.